first of all, I want to know where the festival is.
So the festival is located in the northeast corner of Italy and at the border with Slovenia. So it's a land of borders, of languages, different cultures that switched, let's say, ruleship among many states, many countries, but the people kept this in his DNA, in its identity.
So old Roman Pannonia.
Yeah, something like that. Let's say that has been for centuries the entrance gate to Italy, because in that part the mountains are lower, so it was easier to cross.
And are you in a particular town? Are you in Gorica or are you in...
Exactly. The festival is basically located in an area around Gorica, which is called Collio, Brda, that means hills. And it's very famous for excellent white wines. So it's a vineyard place. But we started now to perform more also in the city of Gorizia and Nova Gorica, following the recent European Capital of Culture 2025.
Now I want to interrogate the word piccolo. So is it that the operas are small, that the audiences are small, that the places are small? What's piccolo about it?
Well, actually, it is another reason, but also it is connected with the meaning of piccolo, to be little. The festival was created in 2007, so next year we will celebrate 20 years. And it was created exactly 10 years after the death of Giorgio Strehler. That was a famous Italian director. And Strehler created the Piccolo Teatro in Milano. And I was always amazed by the philosophy behind the idea of the creation of this theater, that was an international theater able to speak to everybody. So rooted in the territory, rooted in the community, but open to the world. And I wanted to do my little version of opera theater that starts from the very bottom and then tries to reach international audience.
Perhaps that should be called the Crescendo Opera Festival.
Crescendo. we can add the name now, Piccolo in Crescendo.
Exactly. So let's go back to the word piccolo. So do you do chamber operas, or do you do big productions, or what sort of opera productions do you do?
Yeah, mainly we are boutique opera festival, so mainly we do chamber operas. Of course, for budget reasons, but generally we are not interested in doing big production, because clearly we are surrounded by institutions that are more capable than us to do. We think that it's better to have our own voice and presenting something that is particular and just comes just from us. So it's quite original. And so we do small operas, yes, chamber operas, or smaller version of famous title, like new creations, or let's say rewriting or rethinking the big titles of the repertoire, especially to catch new public. That is a very important issue at the moment for opera, I think.
So if you're talking about chamber opera, how far back do you go? Do you go back to those beautiful chamber operas from early Monteverdi, or Francesca Caccini, or how early do you go? Because those, of course, are the small productions. They were done in small rooms. So.
Yeah, actually, let's say the earliest that we perform are the Napolitan intermezzi or Venetian intermezzi, with two singers usually. We did many of them. We don't do many Baroque. We did something. Let's say that the earliest titles are something like Piccini, La Cecchina, or Pergolesi. We did also Leonardo Vinci, which is not Leonardo da Vinci, of course.
Neapolitan composer, yes.
So that's what we face, because these small intermezzi many times are telling stories that are quite near to the contemporary problems of couples or families, let's say.
So you're really starting at the beginning of the 18th century.
Yes. That's.
And coming up to now. How do you do a lot of contemporary opera too?
Now we are doing more, and we are having also many, let's say, never performed before operas. So it's like world premiere and many national premiere. I think that is important, and I'm more and more interested into this field because I'm convinced that opera is able to represent our society. It's not true that opera is something that needs to stay in museum and has only a way to be performed. Opera is a form of art that is able to make people think about society, and even I would say to push towards certain changement in society, and it's equal than theater. And I think that it's very important that public is able to identify himself into what is happening on stage. And opera it has full capability to do that.
One of the problems that contemporary composers have is that they get so few chances to write operas. And yet, actually, because of the flexibility of contemporary music now, they can write for any small ensemble, any small combination of instruments. You'd have thought that actually opera places, opera festivals which had a limited budget would find the contemporary opera extraordinarily attractive.
Well, what we see now, for example, that even big institutions like the Met is programming a lot of contemporary opera, and with huge success, I must say. I was reading that even some of the contemporary production had more public than the repertoire titles. Yes, you are completely right, and we are, let's say, taking advantage of this possibility, and we commission for next year a micro opera. So I think that it's possible to do even an opera like the one that we commissioned with 2 singers and 1 instrument.
And who's doing that?
Well, it's an Italian composer and also Italian librettist, and we want to put on stage something that is speaking about it will be called street food opera. I do this spoiler, and it's mixing Italian style food and opera and the love story in the middle. And so, like, it's a contemporary something that is happening nowadays.
Goes back to that line from Purcell, if music be the food of love.
Exactly. and definitely...
Or Shakespeare, of course.
Shakespeare, yeah. Yes. So that's our belief completely.
Yes, exactly. One of the most fascinating things about this is that you're not in a region which is thought of as being the centerpiece of Italian opera, that which is really from Milan down to, I suppose, down to Naples. You're up close to the Slovenian border, relatively close to the Austrian border. It's an area where opera, I would thought, has a very different tradition.
Yeah, that is definitely something that is not making my job easier. I must be honest about that, but it gives also other opportunities. And I'm about now to investigate a certain repertoire that it is quite unique and that I'm studying about, which is the cross-border composers. Can you believe that in that area we have many composers that, for example, were from Slovenian heritage and they wrote operas in Italian, or Italian composers that they wrote operas in other languages. So this mix of culture, it's reflecting also in opera, and we have, for example, many composers that studied in Vienna and others that studied in Milan. So we are split between Austrian and Italian influence, and this is valid for all that area. And there are quite interesting operas that I think could be, let's say, good for a revival. I would say like that.
I was just thinking of a Slovenian composer who was Italian, but who was Tartini. Did Tartini write any operas?
Yeah, that is dangerous because it can become also a political issue, and I don't want to enter too much about that. Yeah, Tartini, at that time, Pirano,
exactly.
The city was Venetian,
Yep.
but now is Slovenia. But for example, I want to mention another composer that is called Ivan Zajc. He's from the city Rijeka, we call in Italy Fiume, and the theater that was before called Teatro Verdi, now it has his name. So it's Theater Ivan Zajc, and he studied in Milan. And he had all his formation in Milan Conservatoire, and he wrote his first operas in Italian, and then turned to be the Croatian Verdi. And we have another one that is called Victor Parma, was born in Trieste, Slovenian family, and it became like one of the most important Slovenian composers, and he died in Maribor. And all of them, they have in their music the identity of the, let's say, culture and music of the territory they put in the operas. So the popular music, the traditional music, and that it's kind of heritage that I hope it will last for centuries.
I was thinking of Piccolo Opera, must be your favorite opera is Poulenc's La Voix Humaine, which requires one woman and a telephone.
There are also others, by the way. This year we have a world premiere that is a new composition with one tenor and small ensemble, of course. Yeah, but you know, you can say a lot even with one singer. Sometimes it's better to have one singer and says more than a lot of choir and many soloists.
Well, if you have two tenors, you've got a problem. Anyway,
very big problem. Being a baritone, I can say that.
Yes, exactly. Yes, as a profondo basso, I'm fine. Gabriele, thank you very much. That was
Thank you.
great. Thanks.